the brave and the few. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Yeah, my name is Grant. I'm your host tonight. Welcome to Awkward Teenage Years. Round of applause, has anyone been to one of our shows before? All right, and for those of you, so most of you, but for those of you who this is your first time, we are a true storytelling show where we talk about our teenage years, stories from middle school and high school. All of our guest storytellers, they're going to come up tonight. Everything you're going to hear is a true story. Stories about first crushes, skipping class, first drinks, sexual experiences, and most importantly, coming of age. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to get out of the way. This is a milestone show for us. Since COVID, it's our first show where the bar has been open. So, if you guys want to go up and get a drink, all I ask is that you wait until my dumb ass is up here talking so that we don't interrupt any of our wonderful guest storytellers who are going to be coming up here and sharing their personal truths with you guys. So as long as you wait for me, feel free to go up, get a drink, have fun. So I'm just going to riff a bit for you guys, give our latecomers a chance to get in here. It's spring. Not that you can tell. It's funny because the planet's trying to kill us. But, and you know, I'm from Alabama originally, and spring always meant, you know, things get really lush and green. It starts to get a little warmer. Maybe you can get away with a short sleeve shirt outside. Flowers are blooming. Birds and bees are out. If you park your car outside, chances are you will wake up and it will be covered in pollen. But as far as school was concerned, spring was exciting for me because it always meant we were closer to the spring musical at school. And I looked forward to it every year. I was in every musical, all 4 years of high school. I was a real theater kid. I ate it up. And like from freshman year, it's never not embarrassing. From freshman year, I was hooked from the start. Our freshman musical was Hello, Dolly. And I got cast as a freshman in the role of Cornelius. Yeah. So for those who may not be as familiar with Hello, Dolly, Cornelius is a 33-year-old general store clerk who has never left his hometown of Yonkers, New York. He's never even kissed a girl. So the plot, his story begins where he's decided he's going to shut down the store. He and his friend Barnaby are going to go into New York City, and they aren't coming back until they kiss a girl. Now, contrary to everything you've just heard me say, I'm a heterosexual. So I could relate, though, at 15 to the fact that I also had never kissed a girl. You know, I'm from Bible Belt, save yourself till marriage, virgin territory, and I was a goody two-shoes kid trying to follow all the rules. But, you know, it's high school. You're getting more curious and everything. So I find out that the girl who is playing my love interest in the show is this girl, Hannah, who is a senior. And I start thinking, oh, Cornelius has to kiss a girl. Maybe I'm going to get to kiss a senior in this very show. And I'm officially going to be the coolest kid in the school. The fact that I'm in a musical aside. But and so I'm really we're getting into rehearsals, we're getting closer and closer to the scene, and I'm getting excited, like, oh, I don't know, what do we do? Do we do that thing where like we shove my thumb between each other's lips, you know, on stage? I'll take it, whatever, it's fine. And so we get to the day of the show where we get to the point of the script where Cornelius and this character's name, who I'm blanking on.
Barnaby.
Not Barnaby. Not Barnaby, but good guess. You're in the right. And the girl he's supposed to kiss. Barnaby's an entirely different show. It's where they're supposed to kiss, and I'm getting ready, and our drama teacher is blocking the scene and goes, all right, and this is where you're going to kiss her hand. Aww. And I'm like, I'm going to kiss her hand, and almost as if she read my mind, she looks at me and goes, you're going to kiss her hand. Okay, got it. That's fine. So during that show, I kissed her hand. I did not get my first kiss. I would not get my first kiss for another year. And those April showers did not bring May flowers. So, anyway, that first kiss is a whole other story, but you're not here to hear that. You're here to listen to our guest storytellers. So, let's get this show on the road. Our first guest, she has produced and starred in videos for BuzzFeed and Univision. She's performed stand-up and storytelling all over New York City, and she hosts 2 podcasts. That's right, 2. They're called Caretakers, where she explores the world of caretaking, and I'm Listening, which focuses on different themes and pivotal moments from the show Frasier. So, give it up for our first storyteller, Anita Flores.
Thank you. Also, this is fun. Face stripping. That's what I'm calling this now. It feels kind of insane and fun that I just got to do a review. Also, I can't see anyone, so it's cool. I feel like I'm having a dream. Okay, so let's break down this photo. So here I am, I'd say 16, and I'm wearing what I would say is a pretty classic outfit for me at this time in my life. So generally, my sort of uniform that I created was pajama pants or Old Navy sweatpants. And then you can't see it, but this is actually one of the shirts for my many collection of shirts from Hot Topic. This is a picture of Ralph from The Simpsons, and he's picking his nose, and he says, I don't remember, but it's a picture of Ralph. That's me holding a lightsaber. I don't actually remember anything about the lightsaber. But if we're talking about being late bloomers, I think I can top your first kiss. My first kiss, I was 17, okay? And also late virginity here, 23, woo! That's right. In fact, I'm 34 now, so I think last year I celebrated my 10-year losing my virginity anniversary because I lost my virginity on Easter. Thank you. So that is coming up. It's going to be a fun anniversary that will compete with my wedding anniversary. Somebody who just went up is getting married soon. I just got married, which is something I don't get to tell anyone because I work from home. So I'm telling you, I'm married. So let's give it up for everyone here who did not peak in high school. Yes, me, definitely. I did not peak in high school. I would say I had a friend triangle, as in not a friend circle, a friend triangle, because I had 2 best friends. Wouldn't say I was popular, as I feel that, at least based on what we considered popular kids at my school, the farther away I get from that time, the more I realize they were popular because they were rich. we called our popular kids were called the preppy kids. And now, in retrospect, I'm like, oh right, they had money, and that's why they were popular. I didn't have money, but I was way cooler than those kids, in my opinion. So I was definitely at this age, around 16, watching too many Lifetime original movies. Not sure if anyone here has familiarized themselves with sort of their very impressive, not only like, they have so many movies, but the titles. I actually, just because I don't want to butcher them, I am going to tell you, here are some of the films. Let's see, 15 and Pregnant, Cyber Seduction, His Secret Life. And what's great about these titles is the plot is also the title. Betrayed at 17, and this one is The Party Never Stops, semicolon, Diary of a Binge Drinker. And my favorite, My Stepson, My Lover, which again tells you everything you need to know. And so I feel that I watched these movies too early because all of the Lifetime movies basically sort of teach you, if you're a woman, like, watch out. Your best friend's gonna steal your life. Your husband is going to stalk you. Just like an assortment of terrible things that will happen to you, especially if you're a teenage girl. And so this is what informed me. And I remember when I got an invite to a party, it was very exciting. I got invited to a party around this age. And as a non-popular person, that's exciting. And but I was excited, but I was also nervous because of all, perhaps watching too much TV, too many Lifetime movies, and one in particular that I haven't mentioned yet, which is called She's Too Young. And that's a real title and a real film, starring Academy Award winner Marcia Gay Harden. Yes, Lifetime has a Rolodex of really impressive actresses, specifically Hilary Swank, Dying to Belong. Okay, anyway, so this was in my mind, the plot of She's Too Young, before I went to this party. And here's the plot, which is an unpopular girl goes out with a very popular guy who, while they're out, he, they kiss, and then he tries to convince her that they should have sex, and she says, something along these lines. I'm not comfortable, and he says, fine, I guess we'll just take you home then. And then she goes, no, wait. And then sort of gets kind of like gaslit into performing oral sex, and then so he drops her off at home, and he goes, you should tell people about this. It'll really boost your reputation, which is bad enough. But then, twist, he's got syphilis. And he's hooking up with other girls at school, and the movie is about the syphilis outbreak that happens because of this popular guy. And so this is what's in my head before this party. Syphilis. And to be honest, then, and maybe even now, do I fully know what syphilis is? Not exactly, but I know that the star of She's Too Young was not happy to have syphilis. So when I go to this party, it's a boy-girl party, and the party's being supplied alcohol by the host's older brother. So, at that age, at a high school party, we're talking like, Smirnoff Ice, some vodka in a plastic bottle. She also had a fun mom. I don't know if you've met those moms, but they're the ones in high school who let their kids drink. So she had a fun mom. So I just knew that this party was going to be crazy, and I decided, because of not wanting to be tricked into getting syphilis, that I wasn't going to drink at this party. And at 16, at a party with people, usually I'm just hanging out with my two friends, I was very uncomfortable. And I had no liquid courage because I wasn't drinking. And I did try and sidle in on some conversations. I think what was hot then, MySpace, which I never had. But, I kind of tried to, play along. Ooh, who's this person you're talking shit about? Yeah, I hate her too. And no one really brought up things that I was really interested at the time. For example, my two friends and I were working our way through the Leprechaun series. I don't know if you're familiar with some horror films about a leprechaun. My favorite one is He Goes to Space. It's called Leprechaun in Space. Nobody brought up their favorite horror films, which is generally how I spent my weekends with my two friends, watching horror movies. No one brought up what soap operas they were racing home to watch after school because they didn't do after school sports or activities, which was me. So then I started talking to the host of the party because she invited me, so here's somebody I can talk to. And then I started complimenting the snacks that she had at the party. I thought that was like a normal thing to talk about. I started talking about Chex Mix and how, it was great that she had more than one kind of Chex Mix. And I could tell I was losing her. She was not interested. But I didn't want to leave the party because I didn't want to seem lame. So I needed a way to escape, but not leave. And I thought, what can I say to not seem weird, but also hide for the duration of the rest of this party? So I turned to her and I asked, I said, I'm feeling a little tired. Is there anywhere I can take a nap? And so she looked at me for a moment, and I think perhaps in disbelief is my guess. And then she said, I guess my attic. And so I went to the attic, ladies and gentlemen. I went to the attic. The lights were off. I'm up there. I'm happy because I'm not at the party anymore, and I can just hide up here, maybe take a nap, like I said I was going to do. I can't find the light, so I'm just feeling around in the dark, which is fine. Again, I just want to sleep through the party and escape. So I feel around. At this point, I know what a futon is. I open the futon up because this is a party, there's no rules. And I lay down on my back, closed my eyes for who knows how long, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then suddenly I am being suffocated. My face is being suffocated by something, and I realize it's a butt. It's a man's butt. It's the man's butt is wearing pants, and I think that's a really good way to commit a murder, is sit on someone's face wearing polyester pants. So suddenly, boy butt, I think, hears this, stands up and he goes, "Oh, sorry, dude, I can't see anything, by the way, but this is all in the dark." And then I hear what sounds like a girl giggling, and I realize, oh, I see what's happening. He brought her up here to like make out or whatever. So I get up. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I see, you know, the shadows of them take over the futon, and then I stand up. And again, it's dark, but there's silhouettes, and I am starting to realize it's a bit hot in this room. And I'm starting to hear some noises in this room, not just from them, but you know, maybe what's a good vocal noise description, like a horse smacking its lips. And I look around and then I realize I'm in the hookup room and there's other people in here, and I don't know if maybe this is a Connecticut thing. That's where I graduated from high school in West Hartford, Connecticut. Maybe there's hookup rooms in other suburbs, but apparently the hookup room at this party was the attic. And I was just kind of, once I realized this, I also realized I was standing in the dark, in a room, surrounded by people that were all kissing, and in retrospect, badly. You know, it shouldn't be that loud, in my opinion, the kissing, but that's just me. And so, but I don't want to seem uncool. I seem to be obsessed with this. I mean, not exactly. I did go and take a nap at a party, but I was obsessed with the idea that if I left, it was going to admit defeat, that I was, you know, I was too scared to be at this party. So what I did was I found an available chair, and I sat in that chair and I fucking napped. Or, well, I closed my eyes for about 10 minutes, okay? But think about what a radical thing that is to do. Think about, to me, the equivalent of that now would be like sleeping through an orgy or something. And I think that that's a really cool thing to do, like sleep through an orgy, be uninterested in sort of PG-13 eyes wide shut that's going on. And so, yeah, so I just closed my eyes for a while, and then I kind of sauntered out, and that was that. And so what's funny, I didn't think about this until today, is I bet somewhere out there, someone else in that room is also telling the story, except they're saying, you know, I was like making out with this girl, and then I saw some perv just standing in the dark, like staring at us, and then, I don't know, they sat down and God knows what they were doing. So I guess that was me, the perv in the attic. Thank you very much.
Oh man, the hookup attic. As you can probably guess from my intro, I did not get invited to the hookup attic. But one thing I could definitely relate to from parties when I was in high school is that look in someone's eyes when you could tell they're losing interest in what they're saying. In fact, I can relate to that from this week. So anyway, one more time for Anita, everybody. All right, our next storyteller, he is a writer, a storyteller, and an improviser at the Magnet Theater. We had him on for the first time when we were just doing this as a live stream during the pandemic, and we're very excited to have him back live and in the flesh. Please welcome Rob Penty.
Thanks, everybody. 18, first kiss. I dropped the mic, but 22 for virginity, so Anita, you're chilling. Cool. So, there are going to be some familiar themes tonight, I believe. Yeah, when I was in high school, like, I didn't go to parties. Well, that's not true. I went to like 2 or 3. I went to a handful. See, the thing is, when I was in high school, yes. When I was in high, yeah, when you do that to your hair, God takes it from you. That's, so, my whole thing, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs. That stuff terrified me, like much like the Lifetime movie. I was very, very influenced by the After School special. Just scared me. I was so off drugs. It was unbelievable. And I didn't date either. It wasn't like I was like refusing dates or it was like some moral stance, but I went to an all-boys high school, and I also was just very awkward, and I sort of, and I had that thing, and I'm ashamed of it now, but it was sort of like, oh, we're gonna go like nice guys. And I was like one of those nice guys, you know what I mean? Which is just the way you sort of tell yourself, oh, this is why I'm not dating. Because the one thing that I wanted in high school was to get into college. I was like, it'll all be better when I get into college, when I get into a good college, and then I'll show all them, you know what I mean? And so it was all about grades for me. I didn't do anything unless it would help me get into college. Like, yeah, I like went to youth group and like did community service, but like just to put it on my college application, you know what I mean? It was like that kind of thing. So, but I did, okay, so I did, like I said, I went to like a handful of parties senior year. Oh, but I went to like one legit like teen movie party once. Like an actual like big house party, like everybody's got a red Solo cup, like the cool kids are there, like everybody in the place has syphilis. You know what I mean? Like, so like, but like I said, like I didn't do drugs and I wasn't one of the popular kids, so basically like I entered, like kind of did a lap of the first floor and then like found a TV where I watched Def Comedy Jam on HBO, and then I left. And that was how I partied in high school. Most of the parties I got invited to were just like this one party that my friend Pat invited me to. It was at his girlfriend Leah's house. Now this party, it's like air quotes party, because like the only thing separating this party from like some people hanging, like 8 people hanging out in a living room, was the absence of parents and the presence of beer. There was like a 12-pack of Coors Light. And so I'm at this party, and like, you know, you're either having a conversation in the kitchen or having a conversation in the living room. And I find myself in the living room, and I actually had a couple of Coors Lights. I decided to live dangerously. That night I had 2 Coors Lights. But there was, you know, just talking, and there were, you know, Leah was a basketball player, and there were some other basketball players there, and I ended up talking to this one girl, Danny, and I found like a deck of cards, and we started playing cards, but I don't know how to play cards, so I'm just like making up rules about how to play cards, like just sort of like draw this or whatever, and I don't know, do you have any 6s? I don't know why. And, you know, but like we were just having fun, and like I was like making her laugh, and it was kind of a nice little conversation, and after my raging night of 2 Coors Lights, I go home. Monday, Pat comes up to me, he's like, dude, so, what do you think of Danny? And I said, I don't know. Because I didn't. I was like, this has nothing to do with my AP calculus score. Like, I have SATs, man. Like, I college, like, what? And he's like, I'm going to hook this up for you. We're going to go out on a double date. All right, and this, Pat is one of my oldest friends. I've known him for a very long time now, and he has always wanted to see me with somebody, so he will go out of his way to set me up with people or hook me up with people. And, you know, to this day, if I tell him I'm dating somebody, he's just sort of like, cool, when are the wedding invitations coming out? And it's like, just stop it. But Pat sets up this date, a double date with him and Leah and me and Danny at the Rochester Red Wings game. I'm from Rochester, New York. The Rochester Red Wings are a minor league baseball team. They were the feeder team to the Baltimore Orioles. I had no interest in either, as neither was an Ivy League university. So we go to this game, and whatever, we're sort of watching the game. I like baseball now. I didn't really then. And Pat, at one point, very unsubtly, says Leah and I are going to go get some concessions, you know, so like basically to leave me and Danny alone, right? Now look, first dates are awkward when you've been on them for a while, you know what I mean? Like as an adult, you've been through a couple, you're like, yeah, but they never get unawkward. But like, this was like my first one. And I'm way in my head, like I don't know what I'm like, am I too close to her? Am I not close enough? Am I saying enough? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? Like I have no idea what to do. And then Pat is just sort of like puts the spotlight on me, right? And that's another thing that he does. Again, like tries to sort of get me to like go for it. And like I'm like, so like what does that even mean? Like go for it. Like, you know, get in there. Like and do what? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. So, Pat and Leah leave, and Danny and I are just staring out at the game. Just watching that game. Staring. And it's silent. Neither one of us is speaking. And I'm thinking to myself, I should say something. I should definitely say something right now. Because, like, it's been about a minute, and neither one of us has said something. Make it good, though. Make it interesting. Don't just come out with "How's it going?" You know, that's not. You don't want to say that. Just say something. Just turn to her and say something. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? Turn to her and say something. Turn to her and say something. What? I have nothing to say. And now I'm gonna break real quick here just to like also mention that a Rochester Red Wings baseball game is one of the least romantic places you can have a first date. Like not that distant a second from like a methadone clinic, right? Because like so it's this rickety old stadium in downtown Rochester, not a very nice part of Rochester, a city which in the 1990s was most widely known for its decaying industry. So here we are in the Rochester Red Wings Stadium, and I'm like, I don't know what to say to this girl, and so help me God, we sat there the entire time Pat and Leah were gone and didn't say a word to each other. Not one word. It could have been 5 minutes, it could have been 50, I don't know. And I knew it was bad because, like, Pat told me later, he's like, we didn't go to get concessions. We went up to the back of the stadium to look down on you, and we could tell you weren't talking because your heads weren't moving. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. And there were a couple more attempts to, like, get us together. Nothing really went anywhere. I mean, when you screw up that bad on a first date and you just don't know what you're doing, like, there's not a lot to go on, and I just don't know. So, I did eventually, senior year passed, I got into college, I, achieved my goal. Here's a 27-year-old spoiler alert. If you only know that you want to go to college and not why you want to go to college, you might end up spending $100,000 to drink beer and play foosball. Just so you know. So I'm ready to go to college, and this is like my next step, and I don't know how disappointing it's going to be. And that summer, a letter arrived in the mail, and it was a handwritten letter, again, 1995. And it was from Danny, and just this, like, I open it up, and, a handwritten letter, that's like, I don't know, a thoughtful thing. And I read about, just how she had a crush on me, and she was like disappointed that it never really went anywhere, and it was just kind of, a bummer, and, so sorry that it didn't do anything. And it was actually like a really sweet letter, and I felt guilty, and I didn't really know what to say or how to respond, and I never did. I never wrote back to her. And like I said, I had that thing when I was younger, where I was like, oh, women don't like nice guys, they look like jerks, that kind of thing, and blah, blah, blah. And then I went through a lot of times where I was like really lonely, and I was like, felt sorry for myself because I couldn't like find, a relationship or someone to date. And I always very conveniently forgot this particular episode where I was a complete oblivious jerk to this girl, to this like kind of lovely girl. And like I said, I never wrote her back. I was thinking I might, but I don't have her address. But if I did, I'd probably just say, Dear Danny, I'm so sorry that I didn't say anything to you. If it makes you feel any better, I'm 45 years old and single, so clearly it's not you, it's me. And you know what? You put yourself out there, and I'm the one that was the coward. And I never forgot you. Thanks. Everybody is
what is that about? I did not grow up watching Lifetime movies. Like my mom watched them a lot, and then I finally sat down with her and watched the one they did about the Craigslist killer.
I've seen that.
Yeah, you have. and then the light bulb was like, oh, these are bad. Okay. but like a head cold bad, you know what I'm saying? Man, I mean, you described the teen movie party and everything, and I, for years growing up, was such a cynic whenever I'd see movies like that. Like, whether I liked the movie or not, I'd be like, those parties are so, like, unrealistic. I've never once been to a party like that when I was in high school. And it took an embarrassing number of years for me to then realize, yeah, it's because you weren't invited. You were at all the theater kid parties with Diet Coke and M&Ms. One more time for Rob Penty. You guys have been great. Thank you guys. So we got some people who came in. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining our show. A reminder that the bar is open, but please try to wait between stories if you're going to partake. Let's keep the show going here. Our next storyteller, I'm laughing just because it's cute, is an actress, a comedian, and a proud cat mom. We're happy to have her on the show for the first time. Please welcome Mary Nepi.
Ooh, good choice. Okay, yeah. That was it. Do you guys know what Club 33 is at Disneyland? It's like super exclusive. I went to Club 33, peak of my life. This story is not about that. Okay, you guys know how hearing a certain song can bring you right back to a certain moment? Like, You'll Never Walk Alone reminds me of funerals. I Hope You Dance reminds me of graduation ceremonies. And any Chris Brown song ever reminds me of prom. But for me, no song inspires so vivid a memory as the great Sean Paul's 2005 hit, Temperature. If you need a refresher, it's an absolute bop that goes, well, I'm on the way the time, cold, I want to be keeping you warm. I got the right temperature for sheltering you from the storm. You get it. Now, if this song makes you think of like a tropical island destination or like dancing up in the club, you're wrong, actually, because it should make you think of my 8th grade choir trip to Durango, Colorado. As I'm sure you're all aware, every year at Ranchview Middle School, all of the 8th graders in choir, band, and orchestra go on this big trip at the end of the year, known as the Durango trip. Now, I think it's technically to perform at a music conference, but really it's an excuse to like go white water rafting and hiking, as Coloradans are wont to do. And as a 13-year-old, it's also a chance to get away from your parents for 4 whole nights. So you can finally, blow off some steam and party it up like a dang Mary-Kate and Ashley movie. So at the beginning of 8th grade, I joined choir because I love to sing. And I just really want to like engage artistically with my peers, and just kidding, I want in on this trip. And I don't know if it's like feminine intuition or being a little bit psychic, I just have this feeling that this trip is going to be a game changer for me. So we load up 3 giant buses of 13 and 14-year-olds, also known as Hell, and take the 6-hour drive from Denver to Durango. And on the very first day, we're rehearsing our songs, most of which are very questionable for a bunch of white kids from Colorado to be singing. And I'm dressed in a fabulous ensemble of a white polo shirt and black slacks. And who should come up to me after we're done but Danny McGuire? Yeah, from band. Now, it should be noted that I am by no means popular in middle school, but I am popular in choir, which is a very low bar to hit. Meanwhile, Danny McGuire, he's like popular. He's one of the athletes that just joined band for an easy A. So I assumed I was not on his radar at all. But he's walking up to me and I'm just like nervously playing with my hair, like, oh my God, what's he gonna say? And he flashes me a smile and he goes, hey, I have to tell you something. You make a really weird face when you sing. I wasn't expecting that. I also do know what he's talking about because as someone who grew up doing community theater, I realized at a very early age that the key to pulling focus is to be as expressive as possible. So I'm just like, oh, ha, 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 yeah, I always do that. To which he responds, I like it. No. Clearly, this kid has already read the game because he's skilled in the art of negging, and I am feeling all sorts of butterflies. The next day, we all take a trip to Mesa Verde National Park, which is like this really cool, ancient Pueblo ruins that have been preserved, but more importantly, it's where I hear the big news. From one of the populars, Abby Christensen. She comes up to me and she's like, hey girl, I have a secret. And she whispers in my ear the magical words. Danny McGuire wants to make out with you. I try to play it cool, and I'm like, what? Oh my god, that's so random. But on the inside, I am in full-on panic mode. Because, you know, I've never kissed a boy, let alone made out with a popular one. Like, how does it even work logistically? And what if I'm mad at it? I mean, my only knowledge of the subject comes from movies and the Gossip Girl book series. But a fire lights within me in that moment, and I'm like, hold up. This is why I needed to come on this trip. This is my destiny. So it was written, and so it shall be done. But the trip is like flying by and I'm running out of opportunities, and I know on the last night, like, it's do or die. And by this point, everyone knows about it. We're like the hot gossip of the trip, and it's this whole like, Ross and Rachel, will they, won't they? So there's a lot riding on this. So the final night, we all go to this giant rec center, which is a very Colorado thing to do. And there's this like massive indoor swimming pool with all these like water slides and a lazy river. I cannot be concerned with all of that because I am so nervous. I'm just trying to maintain composure. So I just post up in the shallow end. Eventually, after Danny and his boys get tired of belly flopping off of the diving board, he comes over and he sits right next to me on the edge of the pool. The air between us is just like buzzing with tension. We chat for a bit, and then he goes, so, do you want to like go somewhere? I nod. I do want to like go somewhere. Somewhere turns out to be this super romantic, fluorescently lit spot right between the locker rooms and the arcade. Now, I am like paralyzed with nerves, but my inner voice is hyping me up like a divorced football coach, just like, come on, it's game time, let's do this, Mary, you got this. And before I know it, there's a tongue in my mouth and it is not mine. And it's weird and it's better than I thought it would be, but I don't care because I am doing it, damn it. I am making out. Hallelujah. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I'm a badass who makes out. Could this get any better? Actually, yeah, it could. Because then suddenly I hear someone going, holy shit, guys, they're actually doing it. And I realize we have an audience. And I realize in that moment that I have cemented my place in the Durango trip history. On the bus ride back to the hotel, Danny and I hold hands, a symbol of our newfound intimacy. And we share earbuds as I flip through the songs in my red iPod Video Nano, trying to find just the right one. And I shuffle a little bit, and then I land on it. Well, the month away, the time cold, I want to be keeping you warm. I got the right temperature for sheltering you from the storm. Great song, says Danny. And I'm like, yeah, it really is. It's a great song. Thanks, guys.
Guys, that's our show for this month. Give it up one more time for our guest storytellers. One more time for Lauren up in the booth. One more time for the amazing house staff here at Frigid and Warren St. Mark's. We will be back in May. Thank you guys again so much for coming out. We'll see you next time.